I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and you have to do it.
All right. You good? All right. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month. Any corrections, questions, additions about them? If not, I will take a motion for the secretary to file. Motion by Greg.
A second?
Second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. Public comment. Anybody have anything to say? Start us off. All right. Engineers report.
I have nothing to report on that. Nothing new.
Solicitors report.
I can't be quite as brief tonight. Okay, first item that you have as authorized last month, we did receive a copy of the draft intermunicipal governmental agreement for the cooperation for recreation and park activities. I want to note a couple of things if anybody didn't get a chance to look at it. If you go to item 2B, they are proposing that Seven Valleys have 2 members of the rec board. I think everything else is pretty much the way it was earlier when it was discussed as far as price. I did prepare a resolution authorizing the borough to enter into the agreement. And I think it was sent to everybody for your review for tonight. And it is on the budget. Again, since we do now by resolution instead of ordinance, we don't have to advertise it. We save a little bit of money. So it is before council for discussion and action.
So is there any questions from any council member about the resolution? Is there any comments, concerns?
What are we proposing anyways on this? Is it for,
Go ahead and start that over again, Mike, what the resolution's all about.
The resolution is the document which authorizes the borough council to enter into the intermunicipal agreement. You have to do it. It used to be we had to do it by ordinance, but for about the last 7 or 10 years, they changed it. We don't have to have an ordinance to do it anymore, just a resolution.
Does that answer your question?
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, comments, motions.
I make a motion that we move forward with the resolution.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nothing new on the building transfer. Still haven't heard a word. The sewer mediation, another date has been picked for Tuesday, March 26th. So we shall see what happens. Sam, you have a police report.
Yes, so this spans October 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2023. Crash reports, there were 3 crashes in the borough. One for something I've never seen before, driver inexperienced. 2 of the crashes occurred in October, 1 in December, 2 were hit and runs, 1 was a distracted driving. 3 citations were issued in October. The most prevalent was careless driving. 2 warnings were issued and 2 non-reportable crimes. The actual crime report, 2 investigations in the borough, 1 arrest was made, 1 crime against a person for reckless endangerment in October, 2 crimes against property. 1 was a theft of a motor vehicle in November, 1 was criminal mischief in October, 1 crime against society for a firearm violation in October.
All right, thank you.
Okay, that's it for us unless anybody has any questions.
Anything for the solicitor? So back to letter A, before we jump over.
Just briefly, it takes 2 seconds. So the mediation is still ongoing.
Yes,
Okay, well, hasn't been resolved yet.
no.
All right, thank you.
And you were saying back to.
All right,
item
back
A.
to solicitor's report, A, with the resolution. As it reads up to two members on their board. I did look into it a little bit. It appears Jackson Township only has one, and that was their choice.
I think it's Paradise Township.
Paradise, I'm sorry, not Jackson, Paradise, when I looked at it. So, council members, anybody interested in being on that board?
Yes, I'd be interested in being on that board.
Anybody else interested in being on that board? Mayor?
I think in my view, it should be, if we're going to appoint two, I believe it should be one elected official, and I believe one resident of the borough, a non-elected resident of the borough.
Okay, then we will come back to this, the public comment at the end of the meeting. I want to get a vote on the members, on it, not just an appointment. Is that the right way to go about that, Mike?
The borough, yes, you will approve the agreement, and then you would take separate action to appoint who you want to be the members. That's correct.
Okay, so,
And if I can add, it's two different terms. There's a 2-year term and a 1-year term. And I would be interested in the 2-year term.
Well, the one that's there right now, if you look at 2B, the first one will be till December 31st of 2028, and the second one will be December 31st of 2029. So they're longer than 2 years.
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah, 5 and 6.
I didn't see the dates. 29.
And again, I think the recommendation that they make is, as the mayor said, one elected official and one resident. So again, that's a guideline. That's up to the borough who will put in.
Do we have meetings on the same time? Is it quarterly, monthly?
I think it's the 3rd or 4th Tuesday of every month.
I don't know what the proper protocol to, maybe for the resident, a resident might, my view might, I don't know if do we have to appoint both of the members tonight?
No.
Because I would think if residents, I would think a letter of interest might suffice. That way we can take everybody's account and maybe some background of why and,
I like that.
That's a good idea.
I like
why and maybe some of their experience, why they might be a good fit. I think that would be good practice so that it's open to not just people in this room right now, but the borough as a whole.
Give you time to advertise it and seek everybody in the borough that might be interested.
that. I like that.
A
One
letter of
thing-
interest would be, I think, appropriate.
One thing to keep in mind as well, the resolution goes with this amendment to the current agreement. I got this on Friday.
Yeah.
So no other municipality that's involved is going to be taking action on this document until at least sometime later this month. So you're really not going to be doing anything probably until at least March. So if you wait until your March meeting to appoint your people, you still would probably be able to make your March meeting.
And it's my understanding that, I mean, those boroughs, township school boards have to approve that even
Correct.
for us to
Yes.
move forward anyway.
Okay,
Yes.
so, I say we just hold on both of them for right now and move on.
I think, yeah.
Does anybody have a problem with that? And wait till we're actually approved and in, and then,
I think, I mean, we could be,
And that
put
would
it
give-
out for letters of interest a while too.
correct, for next meeting, right, and make
Yeah.
decisions on both positions next meeting. Okay. Anything else for the solicitor? All right, zoning and code enforcement, whenever you get done writing that.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Everyone has a copy of the report. If anyone has any specific questions, just do want to note that 52 Main Street has been sold. They did get a zoning permit and a building permit. They're going to put a deck on the rear, and then they're making repairs to the front porch, which is already started.
May I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Can we do like Jeff used to, when he comes in, we all have this, so people that are in the audience say no, or are they not allowed to know what this is?
They can know. It's up to council if they want me to read down the whole list or not.
Because I think people in the audience probably might be.
Or if council wants me to, I'll make copies and put it out there with the agenda.
Feeling that, everybody kind of should know what we're doing. That's just my.
Do you want me to start next month, just making a copy and put it out with the agenda?
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
fine.
I'm not,
Yeah.
no
Because I
objections.
remember when Jeff did, he always said word for word what,
Yeah.
so I thought it'd be kind of nice if people come in.
If anyone wants my copy after the meeting, you're welcome to have it. And then the other one was 150 Church Street. We did issue a demolition permit. They're actually planning to start on Wednesday. And they said that'll take about a week to get that cleaned up. So,
Is that the house that burned down?
yes.
Oh, nice.
Anyone have any questions for me?
Okay.
The mailbox violations, everything's been resolved with the exception of 3 Church Street. As you see, I sent a letter out to them. They have a
I
deadline.
have another question, Todd.
Mhm.
Here it says, plead guilty, paid fine. What was their fine? What did they have to pay?
The borough fine, the borough portion was $50, and the judge said that. I wasn't even at the hearing.
Oh, so in other words, this here that I've heard $600 and 30 days of jail, that's not true?
No,
That's not true?
no,
Okay.
no.
Let me clarify that. When,
I'm only telling you that's what I heard and I thought I'm gonna bring that up at the meeting to see.
under the Borough Code, when we do a criminal citation, we do it 2 different ways. We do zoning and land use through civil enforcement.
Okay.
Civil enforcement says you can get a civil penalty established by a judge up to $500 a day. If you remember when Mr. Conard was here, he was upset because, and the bottom line was, it was resolved, he didn't pay a penny to the borough. But the law, this state law says that we can ask for $500 a day. I just had a hearing today in Redline. The guy didn't show up. So the district justice entered judgment for $12,000 plus costs. It happens. On a criminal case, criminal citation, under the statute, depending on what it is, it's either $600 a day or $1,000 a day are maximum fines. Some things are a lot less than that, like a parking violation, it's $50. But that's up to, that is the enabling legislation that says up to. I can tell you from my experience, Judge Riley has never imposed a $600 fine on somebody for a first offense unless
But now
it's
is this
egregious.
here, is this an ordinance that we have, this $600, 30 days? 'Cause-
Which it mirrors state law, yes.
Okay,
because
because the reason I'm asking this is I talked to another council member, okay? They didn't know anything about this 60, 30 days. I read Brandon's newsletter and I was really upset. I thought, oh my God, where'd they get the $600, 30 days? And so I called another council member and I didn't know nothing, and neither did they, about this being an ordinance. And this person was on the ordinance committee, and I'm just trying to
Well, it was-
establish what
it
was
was,
going
it
on.
was in the ordinance when it was reviewed and passed by council last year.
You know.
The state law was.
The ordinance, yeah,
Ordinance.
it's
Full
in the
text of
ordinance.
the ordinance, yeah.
Yeah, that's when Todd had that diagram.
Yeah, because I went back and looked, because I saw Brandon's letter in the newsletter as well.
Yeah,
And I went back and I looked and actually had the recordings. It was the March 23 meeting that actually ordinances were handed out to everyone. There were a couple people that spoke, including you, asked some questions about it, and it was in that version. And then I went back and looked, the end of March, I sent an email out to all of council with the ordinance attached, and it was in there.
yeah. See, I
Whether
don't get-
whether anyone read it or not, I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
speak to that.
well, like I
But
said,
it's,
I
and-
talked to another council member, and they were just as astounded. Like,
well,
okay, what-
I probably spoke that same one regarding a different matter, and that was discussed. And as that individual stated to me, and I can understand that, that's standard language across the state for penalties.
Okay,
And most people probably don't really pay a lot of attention to that because that's just standard. It's law.
yeah.
But I can't speak for that individual or any other council member.
Just-
So, I
just
mean,
wanted
it
to
was
make sure.
emailed to all of
Yeah, I
council.
just didn't want to get
Yeah.
there, they had to pay $600, because I'd have thought that's a little excessive. That's why I asked what the fine
Well,
was.
and the thing is, when you file, you can ask for the maximum amount. And
Okay.
as the solicitor mentioned, I've never encountered a judge that imposed the maximum
Right,
penalty for a
okay.
first offense.
Okay.
Now, if they come back a second, third, fourth time, then at
Mm-hmm.
some point, they're gonna impose that maximum. And in my 30 years in this business, I have never, ever seen anyone go to jail. I have
wouldn't
once,
say that.
Okay.
Believe it or not, for parking violation, because the woman really pissed off Judge Trabilco. So if anybody remembers him.
Because when you said 30 days, when I read that in Brandon's newsletter, I thought, oh my God, can you see somebody going from $7 going to jail?
Yeah.
What are you in here for?
But if you take the time and look through all of our current
Okay.
ordinances, almost every one of our chapters have that in it
Now, is
now.
there any way, because I'm on the ordinance, is there any way the people on with me, we could ever sit down and just go through the book and see, you know?
No, you're on the committee, so you can call the committee
Everybody-
together.
Yeah, but I
so,
don't know
but-
who's all on with
Yeah,
me.
everybody
Well, I'm
should
on
have-
it for
Oh,
sure.
are you?
Everybody should have a
I'd
copy
like
of the
to sit
code.
down
You can
and-
just read it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to sit.
and it's
down.
online as well.
Yeah,
So,
okay, thank you.
yeah. Yep. All right, and then as far as the zoning permit refunds, there was discussion last month about Gary. We did pull that one off. I did go back and double check all the other ones. Were legitimate and they should have been refunded, which as you see in your treasurer's report, the bill list, those checks have been cut and returned. So that's all I have.
Anybody have anything for zoning and codes? All right. Albert. Anything?
No.
Scott?
Just to let you know that there is a seminar coming up the 21st of February for flash flood course. And they're just saying it's from 12 to 4 in the afternoon. And if anybody wants to go, just to sit in on what they're going to say, you know, make arrangements to go. There will be snacks provided. They're not bring your own.
Who's offering that?
Your county.
Your county.
Yeah.
Bill James is,
Okay.
you can just email him. I attended the last one last month.
Making sure he takes it.
There's a lot of, it's a tabletop
Yeah.
done, and it's FEMA does it on virtual.
Yeah.
It's, if nothing else, it's a good collaboration with local EMSs to get on the same page.
That's at 7 hours?
You know, it's,
No, it's at your county.
Yeah,
It was just-
Wednesday.
yeah,
Yes, Wednesday, 21st, from 1 to 4.
I think it's 12.
Yeah, 12. Also, I'd like to know if the borough could look into Cherry Street. When Santa Claus came through and we had the engine going down through, it was awful, awful tight. And the tree that used to sit in front of, you know, your mom Connor's place, and it's just about that we can't get through. And it is tight. We're trying to get a piece of apparatus up through there. If we would have to get a truck or something up through there, they're just not gonna fit. They gonna have no real room and to try to maneuver around that tree.
Is everywhere else passable except for at that tree?
It's tight.
Or is it the whole entire street?
It's the whole entire street.
Okay, well, that's, I know you're talking about a tree.
Yeah, yeah,
right there.
We're talking about a whole
Are you
block.
talking about Kathy and Charlie's property?
Yeah, yeah, it used to be old Mom Connor's house.
Yeah, if the cars aren't parked, there's, 'cause I went down through there where the snow was afterwards. There was an SUV, there was a foot away. I actually had to get off the road to get by. I
I
couldn't.
mean,
And a
just,
bigger
you know,
vehicle couldn't.
maybe the borough, you know, see about looking into doing something about that tree.
I know that Kathy and Charlie have contacted, I don't know, whoever is in charge of like the power lines and stuff to see if they could assist and remove the tree, and they would not.
Yeah, they're just gonna trim away from the road. All right,
Yeah.
got it.
And Doug, have you heard any more on from the rail trail about doing that post?
Not yet.
Cross
I'll
railroad
check
tracks.
with Mike again.
Okay.
I know yeah. I will double check with him again and see if that's still on our list for the spring or what it is now.
Okay, all right. Anybody have any questions for us from the fire department? Oh,
Scott, if you continue to take those FEMA courses and one-day tabletops, any certificate you might get, if you can make a copy of that and get it to Todd so we have it on record, probably would be helpful.
it's kind of hard for me to get off work to go take them classes. So I'm trying to look for them when they have them in the evenings, and they have all them classes during the daytime, and I just can't get off work to do them through, you know, regular business times. So, but I mean, I try to keep updated on a lot of stuff I get, you know, try to get the minutes and go through the minutes and stuff, they talk, whatever they talk about.
Do you get the emails from Bill James and Mike
Yeah.
Melhorn? Okay.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
so that's all I have.
All right, thanks. Unfinished business.
Yeah, we actually approved this last month, but it was not in resolution form, and your county planning commission required it in resolution. So just ask council to restate that motion from last month authorizing us to submit an application to the York County Development Block Grant Program for years 24 through 26.
If I sign it, can I make a motion for it?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we pass it.
Motion by Bill. Second by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let's have it. All right. Proposed playground, rail trail street parking lot.
I don't have anything new to add. I think Brandon has some information that they put together.
Thank you. I dropped off as requested a conceptual plan to let everyone know these are still in the infant stages. So these numbers are estimated and guesstimated on some of the documents that were given to me from Mike folks of other playgrounds that that he got pricing on. Those pricings were kind of steep, so we actually went back, and the ones actually shown in this conceptual plan are ones we're currently requesting him to get pricing on, and basing off the internet costs that were on the site versus knowing that there are some other costs involved. I guesstimated somewhere that the equipment with shipping costs is somewhere around $125,000. Possible labor and tool rentals, because there are some things we can't do. The playground committee will be volunteering a lot of the construction and putting it together, but there's a lot of prep work like the foundation where the posts go and stuff like that, that Mike says he believes his maintenance crew can do some of it, but just to be on the safe side, I threw in there some money for that. Just guessing at $25,000 for right now. Maybe have to rent some tool equipment like backhoe digger or something. Don't know. I know there will probably, from what I read, there'll be civil engineering plans probably requested, especially if we go for grants, permits, etc. Probably a high number, but I thought safe and sorry. I threw in there like $8,000. Per recommendation of my folks, he said about going with just the traditional wood mulch, keep it cheap for stuff like that. Didn't get a chance to reach out to see from some local landscaping people what that would cost, but going into business, I don't really see it going past $2,000 for the mulch. And a lot of that, I personally think we could probably lay ourselves in this playground committee, anyway, if they allow us to.
So the question here with the mulch is, most playgrounds that I'm affiliated with, it's a wood carpet, specifically for playgrounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
The mulch that you just purchased from the landscaper has dyes and chemicals and stuff in, so.
Mike
just
folks
a
did
heads up.
mention playground specific.
Would be, there would be special mulch. It could be wrong, but like I said, please note that these are just initial guesstimates.
Yeah,
And that there's going to be a several months, and that's why I wrote a nice little letter. First of all, I am thanking you all for, stating last month that you all would be willing to be on board. But I also wanted to reiterate that this is just in infant stages. This was just a concept as of last year. It was just a thought, a dream. And this is just a small stages starting. So I realized I may be off on that $2,000 number. But he did recommend not going with like the rubber padding mulch and stuff. He goes, a lot of kids are getting burned on that. It's not as popular as people thought it would be. And to go with something more of like a wood mulch, maybe, if it's specific, so be it. But I just wanted to let you know that,
So you're talking about the rubberized?
the
No,
rubberized
okay,
soft mulch. First of all, it's extremely expensive, he said.
Right.
And apparently, it's not as popular. There are parents complaining. Kids get brush burns in the summertime. It's extremely hot. That they're getting burned and stuff. So
And it
Okay.
stains.
I was thinking you were talking about the mulch that you put around your shrubs or something.
That's what they get, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
There is a wood
Yep.
mulch that apparently, I guess, is dye-free or whatever. It's safe for children and otherwise. But it's more, looks like the traditional mulch that you put around your shrubs, I guess.
You'll see the term playground certified when
Okay.
you get into it in more detail, and that's what you need to have.
Okay.
It also means that they went through and made sure you didn't have the nails that you sometimes will
Right,
have in the
or
bags we put around.
Trash, or
Yeah,
who knows what's in it.
yeah.
I don't know what the assembly labor would cost at this moment, because like I said, most of the time was going to be volunteers, local. I listed a lot of names that are involved. And so there should be enough people there, hopefully, to assemble it at the time. And there's always welcome more visitors, more anybody wants to volunteer to help. We appreciate any help. So at this time, ballparking at 160. I could be off. It may be more. It may be less. I don't know yet. So that being said, one of my requests in the letter, opening letter that I have to you guys, is let's just hold off on the grants. If I just may obtain a document stating you guys are willing when the time comes, that you guys would be willing to help out with grants. That's all I guess he needed right now for this stuff. As soon as I get more definitive numbers, I'll be glad to present them, before we do anything else moving forward. And one of the reasons I know this is slowing up a little bit, just to be on the safe side, is Mr. Phillips has experienced some out of the office time due to personal medical issues that he's going through. He will be not available through at least February, he told me. So because of that, I don't know when I'm going to get those numbers to finalize the bills, or the project plans. So if we could, and also I found out that LSA funds may be available to help out with this as well. So as soon as I get more of this get together for you guys, or I'll be glad to present that to you. And so if you guys have any other questions or concerns, I'll be glad to answer them.
Question on the letter that he wants to obtain as far as us putting in for it. Can we put some language, if we do put that letter, if we do give that letter, can we put some language in there? If this Spring Grove Parks and Rec thing is going to work out, they might have better avenue to go through than us.
Right.
As far as using them, if Kate would be able
Yeah,
to.
I wasn't trying to hold you guys.
No.
I get that.
No, I've no problem with
Right.
it, but I know Kate has.
Oh, yeah. She has some really good
Parks
ideas.
and Rec is
Right.
what she does.
So I was hoping, as I stated before, to hit her up with you guys as well. So all of it's great, but all I just need is something, according to Mike, that shows that you guys be willing to participate in with the funding issue in one sense or another. And grants was what I was hoping, assistance for. So whatever you guys can come up with would be great. I just need to get that document to Mr. Folks eventually. Obviously, he's not even in the office right at this moment.
Questions or comments from council?
The only DNCR grants, Todd, we have like a pretty stiff deadline, right?
There's no way we'll get it in this year because it's April.
And that, they work on a multi-year, right? Or
No,
is that every year?
Every year.
Okay.
And one other funding source possibly would be the York County Open Space Grant Program. I didn't see that on the list there, but yeah, it's actually two. They actually have two. Yeah,
Would you be able to email me those names as well? And one other one that Mike had brought up is the Economic Alliance Trail funding. I think it's run by Silas. It was the gentleman's name. I could be wrong. But that was one for other funding that he said we might hit them up after we secure the idea of grants and other funding. This may be a resort of funding as well. So, and I'm sure there'll be some that will ask around if there's any private donations, or maybe go talk to some of the local businesses if they'd be willing to help out. So,
2 places for your private donations. If you reach out to local Lions clubs, they have a Pennsylvania Lions Foundation grants
okay.
that you can apply through them for.
Okay.
And the second, your local American Legions and VFWs, they make a lot of big donations. They actually help the Doylestown Lions Club with our park. So that may help.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our Legion actually matched half of our entire playground.
Yeah, one of the things you have to remember is the Legions and the VFWs with the small games of chance, having the things that they do, they're required to put so much money back into the community. And I'm not sure where your closest ones are here. Lions clubs would either be New Salem or Jacobus.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to look
Or
into that
Jefferson.
too. I was informed by the Senator Kristen Phillips Hill that that's what the LSA is, the local sheriff. Had something to do with gambling casino money as well. So I don't know if that's part of that or totally something
It's not.
separate.
It's
Okay.
I
not.
think
The
that's a
LSA
county
money
level.
is what comes back from the casinos. But
Okay.
but they're obligated. The nonprofits that do the bars and do the small games with the punch boards and things like that are required to put so much back into the community.
Okay, cool.
All of your local social clubs, I think they're 501c7s, C12s. They have that requirement in order to stay nonprofits.
All right, well, we'll look into it. I do thank you for pointing me in the right directions.
Absolutely.
So, in answer to your letter, can we have solicitor or secretary, however we want to handle this, draft a letter and we get a letter approved next meeting for it?
That's, yeah, it's wonderful, actually. I didn't think it was going to come back, but
Either that, or you just authorize Todd to send a letter of support, just that the Borough Council supports their efforts to move forward with the playground. That's all it takes.
As long as Mike Rose is happy with it, I was just going to.
Does anybody from council, I'll take a motion on that. Let's just do a motion on that. On, secretary drafting a letter and sending it to Mike Phobes in support of the playground. Motion by Deb, second by Greg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, I do appreciate it.
Any other unfinished business?
I have.
All right, new business, the rail trail 10 miler.
Yeah, remember last year, they're starting to get this earlier and earlier. They're just looking for the borough's approval to use some of the borough streets, particularly Maple Street. And I don't know, did they come down and go back on Cross? But this is their 10th year. It's August 24th, and it's the 26th year. Their annual rail trail 10 miler, which runs from here into York City. So they just need authorization from the borough for them to use the borough streets that morning.
Is this running or bicycling?
Biking.
Biking.
Right.
Did they-
Running.
I thought they did something. They did that same route.
Is that a half marathon?
This particular one is running.
Okay.
Yeah.
They start out up at the church.
At one time, there was a bike one too, but this is the running marathon.
This is a running, yeah.
No, that's turkey trot.
I make a motion that we
That's a 5K.
allowed to use our street.
And it's not-
Motion by Gary, second by Deb. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new business? Okay, treasurer's report. Everybody had a chance to review it. Are there any questions for secretary, comments, corrections?
Todd, anything that stands out that you want to point out to anyone?
Nothing that I have. I looked at it again today to see if it was, but no.
No comments. I will take a motion for the secretary to approve, accept, and file statement for audit and to pay any regular bills that come in.
So moved.
Motion by Bill, second by Greg. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's that. Secretary's report.
The only thing I have is to request authorization from council for me to attend the annual conference of the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs on Monday and Tuesday, which is June 3rd and 4th. That's going to be up in Hershey.
Are you going to commute back and forth?
Yes. Mhm.
And this $100 is just, each day is just going to the conference.
Correct.
It's not, yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'll commute every day.
Cheryl, are you going to be attending this?
Yes.
I'll probably
But-
be on top of that is I'm going to, Cheryl. I believe my registration, Cheryl has.
Right, this will be paid for. This fee is transportation, and if you decide to stay.
I don't plan on staying at this point. If I do, I will, as we go closer, and then with Todd, we might be able to commute at least a couple of days together, but it is my intention, and I have my days all put in at work to go to, so this year.
And Cheryl being a director on The state association, she's covered, yeah.
Okay, so are you gonna have one of these, or do we need?
I don't know, I'll talk to Cheryl, I don't know if she's gonna, are you gonna be able to fill what you have out for me?
No, what you,
Or what am I gonna have to?
do you have an application
I do
to
not,
register?
no, I do not.
You apply to getting one, and this is what you would send with your application. I'll give this to you after the meeting.
Okay, so
And is that just for the conference time,
the full package.
the
right?
full package
Full
for the
package
daytime?
Conference, but
Yes.
not a hotel and not.
Right, correct. Okay.
Yeah, my intention is to do Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
So there would be no cost for Doug?
I might have some mileage on Sunday.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the registration.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get that for, it looks like it was almost by April 24th.
Yeah, I will.
Talk about
get
for
the
next meeting.
application, Or I will go on and get the application and send it to Todd here, this month, so he can get that sent in with that.
All right, so let's, I'll take a motion to pay the registration for Todd on Monday and Tuesday. And we have it in before April 24th, and it looks like it's $100 each day.
I'll make a motion to cover Todd for the application fee.
Motion by Gary, second by Deb, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. That's all I have.
Alrighty, then anything else for the treasurer? Or secretary there, I'm sorry. And mayor's report.
Well, we covered that, the PSAB. I'm working in with trying just to reach out with, I know garbage was an issue, just trying to reach out to some of the independents and talk to them and try to get something put together to just see what if they can offer anything to the municipal, whether that's a contract in the future as a whole or what would go about that. Other than also, speaking with the York County, the Trail Towns program, they are finishing up with design of new signage that's going to be at the trailhead, at every trailhead. They've got approvals and all that, and hopefully they have all that out for design. It's going to be a lot more interactive and very borough or area specific, each of the new signboards. They're very updated. They're going to be completely new. The Parks Department is going to install them, and with that, there's going to be signage, new signage along the trail as well. Kind of telling you what's in the borough, some historical facts about each borough, as well as, what's ahead, whether that's a restaurant or amenities that the boroughs might hold. So, there's the design concepts that I've seen, are very updated, very nice looking. So going forward, they're working on that and they hope to have those things installed by, I believe it's summer to fall, but again, that all depends on construction and design and all that, final design. But other than that, I have nothing else.
All right, thank you. And 3 liens still, that's still remain for right now. And 6 EDUs left. And any comments on the sewer report? The sewer meeting? Okay. Todd, you have anything on top of it?
No.
Mike?
Nothing, thanks.
Sam?
Nope.
Sure. Doug? Gary? Mark? Greg?
I just have a question back on Cherry Street. And that street, do we have we used the total amount of footage that we're
The road
allowed
right away.
for the road right away? Because it is an issue. And it's, if you go down through there, you'll see that most people don't drive on the street on the right side, as you can see where they're driving. And it's tough. Like I said, it's tough for me to get my truck down through there. I can see where these guys would really have problems with that.
I'll see what I can find on the right of way.
My first question is
No.
the parking encroaching on our right of way? Is when that road was designed, was it designed to be parked
Yeah, I
on?
don't.
You know what I
would
mean?
think
Back,
Yeah, I think it would have been because there's no other parking for all the properties down through there really, except for.
just when the
at the
properties
bottom.
are there.
Well, there's a couple.
Well, the property's there.
There's a
If I
couple, but
think
still.
about this correctly, you guys, that lived in the borough, and I just came in, but I think the parking spaces that were there were good for the cars, but now the cars are getting bigger and wider, and they're exceeding the parking spots, the wider base cars.
And growing up, riding my bike down through, everybody
Yes.
parked in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody parked in the parking lot, and then walked, nobody parked along that side at all. There's
But now,
never,
somebody owns that lot now, like I say, would charge.
well, yeah, it was nice to
That's true, right, they did.
and it wasn't fenced off like it is. It went right up to Merck's house. It was,
Well, I don't want to speak on behalf of Kathy and Charlie, but I think they would like that tree down. So if you want to volunteer or put some money aside to
Yeah, I'm
take
sure
that
they would.
tree
It's gonna
down,
be very expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is.
then they're happy to,
Yeah.
get that down for you.
I was just making those, it's an
Yeah, it's
emergency.
just something to look into. I mean, if we have more access that we can widen the street a little bit, even a foot would probably help. But then that would take into consideration the tree too, so. Yeah, so we can find out.
Okay, yep, I mean,
That's it. Thanks.
Deb?
Yeah, I have two things. I had, a friend of mine lives on Oak Street. She tried to tell me, now she's 85 years old, so, but she tried to tell me that that was not plowed. And then I had somebody talk to me that lived on Maple Street, and I'm just wondering how good of a job did he do? Because she's telling me that he did not plow back there.
Oak Street was plowed.
Oak Street, yeah,
It was Park Street and Oak Street.
yeah, where they plow,
Yes.
yeah, because she tried to tell me they weren't plowed.
I'm surprised if Maple wasn't, that I wouldn't have heard from Greg Bonas.
Oh,
He lives
okay.
on Maple, and I haven't heard anything.
There were some people who responded on the Facebook feed about it who had mentioned Maple and Oak.
Now, I'd like to go back to the ordinance. Is there any way that I could make the motion to get rid of the 30 days and the $600 fine? I mean, I'm asking you, Mike, is there any way we can get rid of that?
Well, typically, like I said, what that is that's enabling legislation. In other words, that says that when we do this, the fine is up to $600 or so much time in jail. But the different things have different thresholds. Like I said, parking, you can do up to $50. If you're in a handicap spot, you can go up to $200 if it's marked. Typically, we put in them the maximum fines because I'll be honest, it's an incentive for people to comply. Actually getting that amount happens very rarely. If it becomes an issue, I would certainly suggest we could look into it. But as someone, first of all, the last thing I ever want to do is take somebody to court for violations. And I've said it, whether it's criminal or civil, I'd rather see compliance than get the money. It doesn't do you any good. And having that there as an incentive to get compliance, in my mind, is good for the borough.
Is that it? Bill?
I just wanted a little report on last Wednesday, the 31st, the intergovernmental breakfast local was held at Spring Grove Area Middle School. It was well attended. It was a total of 46 people there. Every municipality in Spring Grove Area School District was represented except for Jefferson. There was chief of polices were there. Senator Christian Hill was actually there herself. A lot of good precipitation. The Larry Richardson, Kay King, and Timmy Miller, they went over the Ross Church Partnership Project, which in turn is going to be the YMCA. All the tenants for the buildings, for that building was there, and gave a spiel for what's going to be in that building when it's done. The project is slated for bids to go out for renovation end of March, beginning April. Construction starting tentatively in June this year with a opening of business for the Y tentatively scheduled for June of 2025.
So I was also at that meeting and I took some notes down. that kind of went along with some things that we talked about or some people talked about here. Inside that building is going to be New Hope Ministries, and they are a food pantry on steroids pretty much, and they're right there on campus. They'll help with rent, they'll help with any kind of funding. Just need to reach out and talk to them and tell them what's going on. I did not get a phone number or anything like that, but they are going to be in that building. I don't think that will be hard to find. And like Bill said, Kate King was there, and I did talk to her. I had concerns of us entering this resolution tonight of how we would kick things off here as a borough, how we would feel involved right off the bat. And she has starred in her calendar May 25th. She does not have anything besides that. She doesn't know where. She needs to talk to some people here in town. She's talking about like a possible outdoor movie. All she needs is the room. So I told her there's a couple places in town that could do it with the grass. I'm not speaking for the fire hall. I'm not speaking for the church. I did tell her I know that the guy up at the church wants to get involved. He had the tree lighting, which I understand people did a very nice job with. She just needs a place to park cars, and she has all the equipment. She has the stage, she has the speakers, she has the generators, she has all that, and that's how she wants to kick things off here. That's her plan, to get everybody, just let everybody know what she's all about. I asked her about a website and stuff, and she said she would really like to just kick things off and have a bunch of information up there on May 25th.
And just to clarify that, she made an error when she did mention the 25th. It's Friday, the 24th.
My bad.
No, she gave us the 25th.
Okay.
It's Friday, the 24th.
And the only other thing I have is I reached out to Lit today, the cable people that were talking about the internet. I haven't heard anything from them, and they did not answer today. I did leave him a voicemail, so I'm hoping that he gets back to me and we can find out if that project's still on track of them coming to the rail trail. That's all I have. Public comment? John?
Oh, sorry. Sorry for coming in a little bit late today. Kayla and I walked over from the tavern. And we had to walk over the bridge that goes over the Cadorus Creek. And just wanted to follow up and see where we were with the lights to brighten up that walkway because it was pitch black. And a car came by and I grabbed Kayla by the coat and pulled her closer to the rail. So just wondering if there was any update on that.
Following the update that we had on the quote.
Yeah,
After the quote, I don't
if I recall correctly, it's around 3,000
believe so.
update both of those lights.
A piece. What was that total? I forget exactly.
I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look.
It was black and we were just holding on to the rail as we went. The other thing, Kayla and I were talking about her little boy Owen starts kindergarten in the fall, and she's at the top of the hill where that flashing light is. And I had brought up something about the buses and having a walkway, because sometimes when the kids who don't need a parent to walk them to the main bus stop are there, we'll be like, okay, honey, it's safe to cross. And the other day we had a car that encroached too close on the bus, but where she is, I don't think right now any children get picked up on the hill, and cars just fly by. So I don't know if
You're
there's,
talking about Yellow Church Road up over the hill?
No, it's Main Street. It's right there where the speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about the state road that runs up over the hill.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I don't know if there's a way we can just have like an indicator that these are the bus zones, and to maybe just be mindful.
Maybe like a little warning kind of thing, because I have no doubt that people are going to run that through that bus stop.
And what's your name, ma'am?
Kayla,
And what's your address?
109 Main Street.
So anyways, I mean, obviously we've got a bunch of parents who are at the stop, but we're always looking out for the other kids. But it'd be nice if there was like something visible, even if it was just like a little zebra stripe crossway or something, because we are always saying, okay, honey, it's safe to cross now, kind of a thing. But anyways, just want to bring that up again.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know Mike Ronkel?
I do. Mhm.
Because I think, don't kids, is that a bus or a van they get on?
They get on a van, and that's further up. So the van does do the four ways, and people do go by them. But I'm right there on the further down the corner. And I know that even when the post office is delivering mail to Lisa, my neighbor at 113, like people fly up that hill. And the fact that the post office hasn't been nailed yet is a miracle. So I can just imagine with the bus stopping, because it does not stop on Main Street. There are no other kids, unfortunately.
Yeah, but there's no sidewalk even there.
Yeah. No.
Where she is,
All
yeah.
right. Anybody else? Next on public comment. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the ex-council member of Deborah 12 too, about the sidewalks. I'm sorry about the mailboxes. Either I wasn't here at that meeting or I don't remember a thing about that. I don't have any past notes or anything on the, I remember about the place. But my question is also about that, usually they're all in compliance now, Todd, except for 3.
No, one. And that's as far as being mounted to the sidewalk. We still have to go out and just verify, because I actually got an email about questioning 2 that they weren't sure it would meet the ADA clearance.
Exactly, there's a couple down
Yeah.
on this part of.
Yeah.
First Street.
So we have to do that portion of it yet, but there's only one as of last week that has not been mounted.
Is that the one in the flower pot across where the funeral was?
No, that one is mounted now.
Okay. Was that just recently?
Yeah, it's mounted now, and they took the flower pot and cut the bottom out and just stuck it around it.
Okay.
But the other one I'm talking about is at 3 Church, where the old church was.
Anybody else? Brandon?
I believe there are only 2 things quick because everything else got addressed. Quick question, does our local contractor for the snow removal, do they get a phone call when there's a sidewalk to be cleared, or do they just look ahead and see it and go ahead and do it and send in a bill?
No, they get a call from me.
Okay, I know there is always this talk of liability, so I don't want to push an issue, but I would like to volunteer if I may the next time, that maybe just give me a holler. I do not mind. I was actually trying to help out most of my neighbors on Main Street. I know there was a few others walking around I saw trying to help out their neighbors. And I would be glad to walk down and shovel the sidewalks for any of the citizens here in town to avoid any further, maybe billing or whatnot, if I may. So I know, like I said, there was issues once in a while about liability, but I'm volunteering. If you guys be willing to just give me a quick call, I'll handle it. It's to me, I live right in town. I can just walk down, and take care of that for them, so there's no one else getting billed. To me, it's something simple as a snow removal. I'm glad to help out.
I live at 81 Church Street.
Yeah, I know. I know y'all live here too.
No. I mean my sidewalk.
Okay. I'll do my best.
All right. What else?
The other question I would like to address, I know it's legal to do. I know you have a point when you guys say that I like to put in the maximum to avoid, as a incentive not to violate the ordinances. I'm a landlord. I used to think that way too many years when I was younger. But over the years, I've gotten a little older and I realize when it comes down to it, the people that are going to break the ordinances or ignore them are going to do so anyway. Same way with the leases. It gets to a point with, well, what do you do? Do we just throw the book at them, or do we, try to be understanding? And I know you can only be understanding to a point because some people, but I don't want to speak for everyone. I think the majority of people are decent people. I believe we're in a society where there's a lot of hardships and a lot of times. And I want to state for the record that I don't approve of criminalizing any civil issues. That's just my opinion, and that's how I feel about my town. And the people thereof. I realize what it's like to be on the poor side of things, struggling, and just the fact that I really don't think it's constitutional. I mean, that's for a judge to decide. I know all that, but I would like to put out their opinion. I really don't think so. And over a mailbox, for heaven's sakes, jail time. Like I said, I know why you're coming from. I get that, but I don't approve of it as a person, being a member of this town. I would like to see at least the criminal part of the civil complaints always removed from our ordinances. You guys, obviously, it's in your ball court. You guys do what you feel like you must. But I thank you for letting me speak, and you'll have a good evening.
Can I just clarify?
Sure.
Just again, for educational purposes, because you're throwing the terms civil and criminal out.
Yes.
Under our borough code, in the borough code, when I refer to the borough code, I'm talking about Pennsylvania statutes that are known as enabling legislation that give the borough authority as to what it can and can't do. Civil enforcement is only done by a borough in land use cases, primarily zoning. If you have a zoning violation, it's done through what's called a civil enforcement proceeding. Anything else, sidewalks, grass, parking, dog poop, sidewalks, that's all done through what's called a non-traffic summary citation. Got to do it that way because it's the law. Doesn't matter whether I like it, whether you like it or not, but that's the way we have to enforce our ordinances.
But that doesn't say criminal on it whatsoever.
It says a non-traffic criminal citation. When somebody is given a citation, like I said, for the things I mentioned as examples, yes.
Okay, but it's still a civil matter, am I correct?
No, it's a criminal matter. It's handled, if somebody goes to the district court, they plead not guilty, they're found guilty, they have a right to do what's called a summary criminal conviction proceeding in York County Court. I've done it already with non-hookup to sewers. I've done it with dog poop on the sidewalk and in front yards, people not cleaning them up. I've done it with parking violations, criminal proceedings. Civil in a borough is only for land use enforcement. And this is where Todd needed a little education when he came here, because he's used to working in a second-class township, which virtually everything is civil enforcement, not criminal. But we got to follow the rules like everybody else. And again, enforcement is an extreme measure. And I can tell you, as long as I'm here, it'll be a last resort, because compliance is the thing.
Right.
Giving somebody a $600 fine doesn't get the ice and snow off the sidewalk. That's what we want. I don't like going to court. It's a last resort. I just don't.
And I'm not saying that is you guys' intention. I realize intentions are not what I'm talking about.
And I get that, but I just want you to understand the difference between what we have to do as far as using the civil procedure process versus the criminal process. We got to follow the rules.
But I'm still going to stand to the fact that anything that that's a civil matter, whether legally it's called civil or criminal. In my opinion, that's a criminal to me is something like murder, stealing, taking, definitely a violation of somebody's of life or the way their lifestyle. So, I mean, it is all, in all truth, legality is mainly a game of words and all that. Like I said, I still want to stand by what my feelings here on this is. I think that's a bit extreme, if I may say. If that works a little bit better for everybody. So, again, thank you. I'm not trying to stir up the pot. I'm just trying to put out there where, I'm trying to give the freedom back to the people the best I can. So y'all have a good evening.
And while everybody's sitting here, does everybody understand the mailbox thing is an ADA thing that that we got this grant after 11 years of filing for, and they're going to come through and inspect before they give us that grant money to get that sidewalk and curb replaced?
No.
Bottom line.
No.
No.
Now, let me add, say
Okay.
this, and I've had my neighbors, okay, one of my neighbors said, you walk down Church Street, like down to where I'm going to use people I used to know, Evans, or,
Yes.
you go there, you can't get a walker through
That's
there.
correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Correct.
Yeah, they're the two that I got to complain about. That's what I mentioned. We're going to go around.
Which two, when you were talking, I didn't know which two you're talking about.
But I also know,
You're not going to get a walker or a wheelchair through.
I don't know if it's changed, but I also know I had a conversation with the postmaster and they said they can't deliver there
Oh, okay.
because of the route. So they just put up the mailboxes. So I don't know if mail's being delivered there now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had one more thing really quickly to say about the driving with the school buses. I know some people are probably going to be like, oh, we never had an issue with the school buses back when I was growing up. But a recent study came out to show that the number of pedestrian accidents has increased within the past decade due to cell phones and the fact that most cars now are manual, whereas before automatic, whereas before they were manual. So you had to pay attention to the road. You always had your hands on part of the vehicle, whereas now there's a lot of handheld devices, people not paying attention to the road all the way. So I'm sure for many, many years, it's been safe to get on the bus or been safe to walk down the road or on the side of the street at night. However, the statistics are showing that there is a rise in pedestrian accidents. I'm wearing a black coat. That doesn't help. But those are just the facts of the matter. And you don't see these stats over Europe because they all drive manual. So they don't have those in their hands.
Jessica, now I know where my grandkids live on Aldinger Road, they have the bus that all the kids get on where their houses are. They never have to cross the road. The bus driver makes a circle and goes down Aldinger Tunnel Hill. So everybody gets on the bus where their
If
house
you can't fit a fire truck down Cherry Street, you can't fit a school bus.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Anyways, that's why I bring it up.
Sharon,
I work for the bus company.
name and address, please.
Sharon Dillon, 52 Church Street. I work for the bus company and they try their best to make sure a child gets on the same side as the door as best and hard as they can. Sometimes there's absolutely no way they can do that, and some do have to cross, but very, very few anymore. They make it.
I'm not putting any kind of responsibility on the bus drivers.
No,
They do
I'm
get
just saying. I'm just saying that they are step testing. That's what I said about it. They try their very best, but they don't have to cross the streets anymore. Because you would not believe that people are running late. It gives me sick in the stomach when I come across the road. And the other day, there was one, right in Dallas Town. He ran late. Thank God there was a cop right there. Amen.
Any other public comment?
I have just one thing to say about this tree. A couple of years ago, whoever lived there before the people live there now had arrangements to have the tree cut down. And then they must have moved and didn't. If that tree is the only problem, which it sounds like there are more, but if that's the only problem, the borough could cut it down and put a lien on their property to cover the costs.
That's a little rude.
Yeah, that's a little.
Is there any other public comment?
So, yeah, I'll public comment to that, actually.
Sean,
Sean,
name,
59 Main
thank
Street.
you.
There's actually a couple things I want to talk about. First off, not feeling negative to you. I like your opinions. But my grandpa actually was on council in another town. And there was a similar issue where there was a large tree at a four-way stop. And right off the bat, someone said, the tree, I can't see past it. Immediately, the borough says, let's just fine them or threaten to lien their house. And my grandpa goes, let's all just slow down. I'll just go over there and I'll talk to him. And he went over there and talked to him, and they ended up just resolving. He's like, I wanted that tree cut down years ago. And they just cut it down. So talk to somebody first. That's number one. So I think that's a better option than just sending threatening letters or anything
No, I
like that.
think you would talk to the person and say.
Yeah, or maybe offer.
don't
I mean,
just
you don't know
do it.
someone's financial situation either. Maybe they want it down, but they don't have $2,500.
Yeah, they've already
$3,000
taken down other
take it
trees
down.
on the property.
So it benefits the community too. Maybe the borough should look into maybe asking them 50-50, maybe a third of it, helping out some way. I mean, they pay towards the borough to begin with. But second thing on that, I'll let that go. Second thing would be, after I'm the one with the flower pot around the thing. So once again, no one really contacted me to ask me why there's a flower pot around there. But either way, from what I understand, the guy that owns the Oregon place is kind of not a nice fella. So the goal was kind of make it look like I didn't drill into the concrete. Because I asked Todd, how am I supposed to drill into someone's concrete? He said, contact him. Todd never sent me the information. He said, I can get you that information. Never got that information. That was when I was asking if he said no, where do I go next? The next neighbor, how far do I go? If you all remember that conversation. So, but either way, once I mounted that, it was mounted. And then weeks later, then I get the civil suit in the mail. But the big thing is then I get one that says that I have remediated the issue, but I haven't done anything but collect my mail for the past month. So I'm curious on what I did to remediate that. Did you just finally check in on it? I don't
No,
understand.
Mr. Snyder, I have requested to meet with you how many times to talk about your violations?
Well, I discussed-
And you refuse, you say
No,
you
I
have
never
no
refused.
time.
I explained
No.
that I will talk to you through email.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
so
there's-
we're not going to discuss it here at a council
That's
meeting.
fine. other than that.
I'm happy to
oh,
talk to you anytime you wish to have a
yeah,
conversation.
Yeah, I only talk, yeah. Second thing would be, I understand that we ran for office and there might be some feud, and I understand that when we were getting, at least when I got in, my goal was going to be removed, possibly a position of yours. So I don't know if it's like a personal vendetta or a target fixation on my property, but I would appreciate if the harassment would stop. You asked about the parking lot. The parking lot never got any bigger. I already asked. Parking lot was done before you became, where I already asked for permission from previous code enforcers. Anyways, I have information on that. Erecting a business sign, their yard signs, there I've counted 10 through the whole community. So I hope everybody's getting the same, do not erect business signs threatening for that. And then thirdly, I'm not going to say anymore, I'm not running a business out of my home, so please stop accusing me of that. So
All I can tell is you were sent a formal zoning violation notice, and it explains what actions you need to take if you want
is that what
appeal it.
certified letter is then in the mail?
to, I would assume. if that-
Okay,
it's
is there a
for-
check there too for the reimbursement of a permit? Did I ever receive that?
Yes, in fact, council, you saw it on the bill list, correct?
So is that within the certified letter? The
No.
certified letter I would have to, so that would came in the mail.
Yep, that would have been separate mail.
Okay, and that's just a check in the mail. Is
Well,
that what
yeah,
that would be?
yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, I mean,
never
regular
received
first class
that.
mail. I didn't send
Okay,
those
then I never
certified.
received that, so then you would probably see I never got deposited, so we can maybe look into that.
I'm not going to do it this soon. I'll give you a month or two.
Okay, so you just sent them out? I'm trying to communicate, but you're very short in your time.
No, I sent them out.
No, this isn't a
two weeks
meeting.
ago?
This is why I don't talk to them in person. It's why I
Yeah,
do
but this
email
isn't,
only.
this isn't a conversation to have in
No,
front of
I
25
understand,
people
but
that you can have. Okay.
And that's my point.
All right, yeah.
Mr. Snyder, these are things that we could talk about as adults to try to
That's
settle,
fine.
and it shouldn't be done at a public meeting.
That's public comment. I thought it would be public, so that's fine.
All right.
But I appreciate your time.
Anything else from anybody? Thank you very much, everybody, for coming.
We'll do that language.